underground peasant climb to the top. Funny style on elevators could never fade us. I peep data stain anytime they congratulate us. Goggles is worn and bottles is popping. I'm beyond Sanders on haters. This ice bucket dropping over their head with it. Extra the cred with it. You either fight or flight. I ain't one for the ledge living. I do it for the one that died but fed millions. With soul food flowed and stock my bare kitchen. I'm liberated. I drew a play that they ain't illustrated. I make a move they gladly imitate it. I ain't flattered. I'm a dragon to your paper castle. The Alpha and Omega promise it ain't nothing after. A new beginning. My catalog like James Earl Jones, the ever living. Imagine if I did make beats that's more for killing. Imagine if you come from the south out my city.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the heart of Texas and the very wonderful AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Today we've got a good NFC matchup on tap between the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. It's the team of the 80s versus the team of the 90s. The Niners, the Cowboys, they're underway. And we'll see a return here from the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. Throwing first play is Lance. Got a man right side, it's McCaffrey. And they'll get it all the way up about 5 yards shy of midfield. A good pickup there, 21 yards.
This one was all about clearing space for this play to work because he's going to leak out of the backfield to his right, then angle his way up the field. And a really pretty throw to put it on him and create the big play downfield.
Throwing on first down is Lance. Man open, that's Deebo Samuel. And he'll be brought down on the other side of midfield at the 43.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons, weapons everywhere. And they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people. But you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well. And that's what they just did on that play.
Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20. That early game script that they drew up is working pretty well here on this first drive. Already in field goal range, Charles knocking on the door of the red zone.
You know, Brandon, when we met with the coaching staff, they kind of predicted that they would come out firing like this. I think you and I are a little skeptical it would be this easy, but they certainly knew what they were doing in scouting, in preparation, and understanding what their team was capable of.
And he's going to be marked down just outside the 10. 4 consecutive passes to begin this opening drive, and you can't argue with the results. They've already driven it into the red zone and a fresh set of downs here to play with.
Which means there's a lot of trust by the play caller, by the quarterback, the receivers, you name it. Everyone locked in, everyone doing their job. I continue to go in that direction because right now they get the defense back on their heels.
And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Tackled there by Leighton Vander Esch. Counting down toward the midway point in quarter one. Shotgun now for Lance. They'll get this out right here to McCaffrey. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. And a good sign for them right now to have their young quarterback looking confident on the opening drive.
Now, we haven't met a young quarterback, a veteran quarterback. It doesn't matter. We haven't met a quarterback yet that doesn't tell us he's confident about his abilities, right?
That's true.
But when you're young, it's really important to get off to a good start because it does build up that confidence.
And it'll be intercepted. Picked off by Trayvon Diggs. And the Cowboys are going to get the football here as they force the INT on the game's opening drive.
Definitely not the ideal time to see that mistake, partner, because this is still a one-possession game, and that's at least a field goal that just vanished with that turnover. Now, Pressure's on defensively to prevent that pick from turning into points for the other side.
Prescott looks to throw on first. They're looking for Lamb, but it's intercepted. Picked up by Charvarius Ward. And the 49ers are going to take possession of the football. Well, their defense got them the football with an interception. They trot out there, Charles, in the very first play. They give the football right back.
Brandon, I almost expect you coming like an auctioneer. We got two. Do I hear three? Remember, it was 2 in a row. Would we hit 3 in a row? Because these offenses, they got to be a little bit more careful as they go forward. These defenders, they're locked in and really focused.
And they'll get this down to the 10. The catch and run, good for 18 and a first down. Well, starting drive number 2 off on the right foot. Completion for the first down. Drive 1 is they had to be pretty frustrated because they moved the football. They just didn't get any points out of it.
But warm-up QB2, let's bring in the backup. I mean, my goodness, you take them downfield and you don't score points. You know I'm being...
That is caught by the tight end, Kittle. Touchdown, 49ers. 10 yards on the touchdown pass. And the 49ers use the early turnover to get on the board first here in this one.
You got to figure down by the goal line. This is where a tight end earns his money in the high traffic area. And he's able to work free in the middle of the end zone and grabs that one for a touchdown.
Gold able to tack on the extra point. And it's now a 7-0 game. After the touchdown, it's Robbie Gould now to kick it away. Fields it right around the goal line. And he won't get this to the 20-yard line as he's down at the 19. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive because remember last time out they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that
Oh, that's into a sea of bodies and it's intercepted. Picked up by Talanoa Hufanga. And into the end zone. A pick 6 for the 49er D as they score the touchdown. Still in the first quarter, but what a great start for them. I mean, they've controlled the airways, Charles, on both sides. They had the passing touchdown. Then they intercept the pass of the other squad and take it back for another score.
Brandon, I know we have a ton of time left, but what an early backbreaker they just delivered. They're up early, and they appear to be totally dialed in. And that offense, they're forced to run right back out, still shaking up a bit, but feeling the pressure to put something on the scoreboard. They've got to be careful here.
From a yard or two deep, here comes a return. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. The Dallas offense here set to begin the drive. And job one here, Charles, just keep possession of the football. 2 drives, 2 turnovers to this point.
You're exactly right, Doctor. Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. And right now, they're harming themselves on offense.
I like that. No one is mistaking me for a doctor, though. But thank you, Dr. Davis. Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Prescott from the gun. And down he goes. The 49ers get there. They'll wind up losing a full 9 yards here on the sack. Now it's 3rd down. Start of the second quarter, and it's the Cowboys in possession as they've got it with a 3rd down and long coming up. Prescott to throw it. And for the 3rd time here in this half, it's intercepted. Picked off by Fred Warner. And into the end zone. A pick 6 for the 49er D as they score the touchdown. Wow, this one, it is getting out of hand early. They add a pick-6 to the ledger now. 3-score lead still in the first half.
And all that celebrating that you see and hear from those defenders is not just because they scored a touchdown on a pick-6. It's because they're pitching a shutout in this one. Every defender's dream.
So they throw the pick-6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. This will be fielded inside the 5. And he'll be out of bounds across the 25. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. Well, CD, you kind of feel like they're in a bit of a danger zone right here because now you're down 3 scores, and I know we're in the first half, but the way this offense hasn't been able to generate anything, you feel like they probably need to get something going on this drive, right?
Yeah, and sometimes I overuse that this is an important possession, but I think this has to be the possession where they come up with an answer because only a few teams in league history have ever come back from a 4-score deficit, and if they don't score here, that's what they could be facing the next time they get the ball.
Prescott's throw complete here to his receiver, Brown. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. From the shotgun, a give to Elliott. And he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's second down. Following the pickup of 4, here's second and 6.
4 yards on the pickup. Second and 6.
Now Prescott. Open man, right side, it's Lamb. And they'll get this down to around the 47-yard line. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. On 3rd and 1, here's Prescott. And this is caught. It's Brown. He's going to have the first down and more than that. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. So much for the run on 3rd and 1. Instead, it's a big chunk in the pass game. First down.
And that might be exactly what they needed to wake up this home crowd. They haven't given them much to cheer for so far. And never underestimate the effect the home crowd with you can have on a game.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. To throw is Prescott. And he's going to be dropped. Back at the 15-yard line. Got to assume this defense will be charging again here. It's 2nd and 15. Inside give to Elliott. And he'll get 4 there, down to about the 12-yard line. A long way to go here on 3rd down for the 8th play of the drive. Looking to throw, Prescott. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. It was Eric Armstead fighting his way through that time to record the sack. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. On 4th down, Prescott goes off, and on comes the Cowboy kicker, Brett Maher, for the field goal try. The kick by Maher is good, and the deficit drops now from 21 down to 18. Now, that's something of a pick-me-up, and the offense certainly has struggled, but they do get the field goal before half to put 3 on the board.
Yeah, you don't want to be shut out, but let's face it, those 3 points, that's not going to solve all their problems either.
This is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. This drive here beginning probably with a pair of motivated groups. Remember, the offense scored a touchdown on their last time out, looking to repeat that in Charles's defense. They were very frustrated after giving up 6 the last time on the field.
And frankly, it's just a battle of wills in a lot of ways because you know they're both motivated, they both game plan for this drive, and they both have specific outcomes in mind. To me, it just comes down to who can execute better and which side can step up and assert its will over the other.
On 1st and 10, here's Lance. Dancing to his left. And he wisely will throw that one away.
I see the surprise in your face there, partner. That is a rare incompletion from him. He's been on point this entire game.
He has percentage completion-wise way up, not that time. An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Here's Lance to throw it. And that's going to be too high, out of bounds and incomplete.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they did incompletions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the 1st half. But if you don't pick up the 1st down, guess what? You're likely going to...
He's got a man, complete. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. That's a 1st down and then some, a 32-yard pickup. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. He'll get this into the hands of Ayuk. And they're going to be set up now with the ball at the 13-yard line. Again, it's Lance. He's taken down, trying to do a little too much, getting outside of the pocket, and it results in a sack. Osa Odighizuwa with the effort there to earn the sack. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the 1st half. Here's play number 7 on the drive. This is 3rd and 7. Throwing now is Lance. And this is going to be incomplete.
Like what I see so far out of this defense because they've been showing their best coverages on 3rd down. So far, only allowed 1 conversion on a handful of attempts. One area of their game plan that they've executed to perfection.
The kick by Gold is good, and the lead up to 3 touchdowns now. It's 24-3. So everything else has gone right in this 1st half. Kind of follows that it would for their kicker, too, as he adds 3 more onto the lead.
Yeah, and the way that this one's gone, definitely not looking like he's going to have to worry too much about pressure kicks late in the game. He can go out there free and easy, just work on his form, and he knocked that one through.
And he'll take it a yard or so past the 20, call it the 21. The Dallas offense here set to begin the drive. And with a 3-score deficit staring them in the face, they might have to press the issue here and try to get points out of this drive. And he still has yet to get on track in this 1st half as they're going to stop him behind the line. They'll keep it on the ground again here. And he'll push forward here for a good little run as the clock continues to run. The Cowboys going to use their 2nd timeout now, as the clock will stop with 18 seconds to go in the 1st half. Once again, they'll keep it on the ground. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. Now the offense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward.
Exactly what they needed right there because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
Prescott on 1st down. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by the former first-rounder Jimmy Ward. And the Niners are going to take over a couple of yards shy of midfield. Well, Charles, you're so close to halftime there. You throw the interception. Not only that, you do give it to them in plus territory as well.
Yeah, they were pushing real hard to try and get something more on the board on their side of the ledger right before the half. Looking at it with 20/20 hindsight, though, Might have been better to hand it off a few times, hoping to get something to break instead of putting the ball in the air and, of course, putting the ball in jeopardy.
And that'll do it for the end of the second quarter. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. It's the Cowboys who get the football first, and they trail here as well as we resume action in the third quarter from the 6. And he'll be out of bounds here just past the 20-yard line. At their own 22-yard line. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense. Well, they look up at the scoreboard facing that deficit. A 3-score game, Charles, but look, there's plenty of time to go here. The old football cliche that comes to my mind is you can't get it all back at once. They probably need something, though, out of this drive, at least 3 points.
Are you trying to say that there's no 3-score drive on that play sheet for any of those coordinators? They just don't have it, right? You're trying to get it all back. You know you can't get it back in one drive, but maybe cut into it a little bit as you just suggested. Try and create a little bit of momentum, a little bit of a spark, and then maybe that'll carry over.
From the 30 on second down, Prescott, and he's got Ezekiel Elliott. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. They run straight ahead here with Pollard. Finding room at midfield. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. 25 yards the pickup there, and also a 1st down.
Not too shabby for his first carry of the game. That's exactly what most teams are looking for, a really good change of pace back.
Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And that is knocked away in the middle of the field and incomplete.
Another attempt, another incompletion. And when I look at the scoreboard and where we are in this game, it comes to mind that they have to start getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers. Throw it to the guys that maybe can take a short pass and turn it into a long gain or make people miss downfield. They've got to have points. And the guys who can put the ball in the end zone, they're the ones that need to touch the ball.
They do get a yard there, but only a yard. Leaves them with 3rd and 9 looming. Another modest gain there on that one. And I think, Charles, you can probably pin part of the deficit on a failure on their part to really get this ground game established.
Yeah, and they've really struggled to be multidimensional in this one, haven't they, partner? Because they have to be extremely one-dimensional now if they hope to get back into this game. They'll have to do it by throwing the football and hope to have success through the air.
And he'll be brought down at the 27. A 1st down throw for Prescott. They'll set up the screen to Elliott. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll leave him with a 2nd and just a few inches left. 10 yards on the pickup. It's 2nd and inches. It's a 17-yard line. Throwing, Prescott. And it's caught. Touchdown! Dak Prescott able to connect with Dalton Schultz. And the Cowboys are able to cut into this lead as they score on the opening drive of the second half. Extra point by Moore, up and good. And that cuts the lead to 24-10. The kick team out there for the Cowboys as they run up to send this one away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly, because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, you feel like you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
They'll try and pick it up with McCaffrey. Well, they hit him in the backfield, and he will not escape. And that is not going to get it done. And they'll go for it. Lance. That's caught. He finds Danny Gray. And he is going to have the Niners first down as they manage to convert. And that'll keep the drive alive. So a moment to catch our collective breath after the fourth down conversion. This is the National Football League on EA Sports.
Here we go. 560. 52 blaster. Next left. Opposite. Green.
On first down, this is McCaffrey. He juked him. And he's got this one across midfield into Cowboy territory. A solid run on first down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3. Now, I think we can get used to seeing more of that in this fourth quarter, especially if they're having success on the ground like they did there.
Yeah, I think back when we met with the head coach in preseason, and all he talked about was building a bully. And I think it was this situation he was envisioning. Trying to ice a game, plenty of time left, but being able to give the ball to his big runner and pound away and try and finish off a game.
And great blocking downfield as he's got this almost to the 35-yard line. He'll get a dozen there, and it's a first down, 49ers. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what we said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3 and out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscle all over the field and getting pushed down it.
Jabril Cox there on the tackle.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Here we go.
Clock continuing to run. They'll probably wind this all the way before snapping it on second down. And now they'll throw with Lance. They'll roll him out right. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. Excellent work there by Lance as he scrambles for the first down.
He's been patient this entire game, waiting for the perfect moment to surprise them with a quarterback keeper. There he catches him off guard and converts his first rush of the game into a first down. Gotta love that efficiency.
There's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. McCaffrey running up the middle, and he is swallowed up right at the line of scrimmage. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the fourth quarter. So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. They stay on the ground. McCaffrey again. And once again, not much running room, if any at all. Call it no gain on the run there, and now they'll be looking at a 3rd down. Looked like he was trying to bounce it outside, but no success.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just figure out where you're going to go, and sometimes you just have to take it to another spot. In trying to get it outside, the defensive pursuit was there and just ran him down.
Throwing his lance on third down. And they'll get him down 2 yards shy after a pickup of 8. 4th and 2. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. Two minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's 49er football here as we get you reset. They've got a 4th down here in a game that looks to have been decided already.
Ready, set. Black shot. 6, 7.
Lance and company going on 4th down. That is caught by the tight end, Kittle. Touchdown, 49ers. A great effort there. A beast in the red zone with his 2nd touchdown of the game. And the 49ers have pretty well put it away here in the 4th quarter. Gold with the extra point, and the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. After the touchdown, it's Robbie Gould now to kick it away. Fielded right around the 8. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. At their own 21-yard line. The Dallas offense here set to begin the drive. Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch.
And my goodness, another interception. Picked off by Fred Warner. And the 49ers are going to take possession of the football. I think you and I were a little surprised back earlier in the game when he threw his 2nd interception. I mean, who would have thought a quarterback of his caliber picked now 5 times?
It's beyond stunning to me because we're used to that with maybe a quarterback with less experience or less talent. But a quarterback of his caliber, I can't believe what we've just seen.
Absolutely. If you would have told me this coming into the ball game, I would have said never, not in a million years. But here we go. Good position to be in here, 2nd and inches. Again, they run. Again, it's McCaffrey. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. 2 yards, good enough for a first.
It's nice every now and then in this game not to see people overthink it. Just hand it to the old reliable guy. Let him pick up the first down.
Ready. Watch out now. 52. Switch. Yellow. Check white. Check.
A handoff left, McCaffrey. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. It was Dante Fowler who got in there to bring him down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
Shot. 17.
So the victory here for San Francisco, and really it looked at times like they just had this one in cruise control out there.
Yeah, they deserve a ton of credit because you and I both know, heck, they knew. But this is a tough place to play. Overcame that with ease, romped home with an easy win. And here's the best part for them. It'd be easy to get to the airport because the crowd left pretty early in this one, didn't it?
Well, plus they have a police escort.
Okay, you had to split that part of it. Of course, they're going to get there. But think about how wide open things are now because this crowd didn't expect this.
No.
So they went back to the tailgate and said, let's go eat. This one isn't any fun for us.
Yeah, they took the drama out of this one pretty early on.